This trip feels almost like a warrior's rite of passage as we enter a state of unimaginable chingaderas with el gran bad hombre Trump as our president. So I'm getting ready to go to the Women's March on Washington. I'm feeling excited, nervous, but mostly looking forward to being part of a historic event. Already the vibe feels pretty ominous. I think tomorrow it'll really hit me seeing and talking to different women. I mean, all I'm seeing so far are remnants of the celebrations. I don't really know what there is to celebrate, so I can't relate. All I know is que me tengo que poner las pilas, because this melanin thrives in the sun, not in the brutal cold. The mood in DC changed drastically. The outpouring of emotions and energy was totally overwhelming. It's clear that Calladita Más Bonita just went out the window.
We're all here to make each other braver, stronger, more courageous.
Being Mexican American, being Chicana, being proud, working in communities of color as well as the incarcerated community, I felt it was my responsibility to make sure that we centered women of color in this march.
I really wanted to come here and feel like there was an intersectionality that, Latina women and women of color and women who don't always fit like this stereotype of what we think a woman is can come and still be supported by the march and still have our voices heard, because we often don't.
When I talk about my needs and my challenges as a Latina, that's not to the exclusion of white women. That's not to the exclusion of black women. When we can talk about that, then we can start to get to solutions.
This is not the man that America deserves, and he's certainly not my president. I think it's important that we acknowledge that if one thing is happening to one community, it is happening to all of us. If it's an issue that impacts Latinos, it impacts Americans. If it's an issue that impacts Muslims, it impacts Americans. We are all in this country together, and if we continue to work in silos, then we'll never get anything across, because we're always going to be fighting for that little bit of attention, those crumbs, instead of fighting for the whole pie.
We never know what's going to happen in our lives, right? But we have passion, and use that passion and do something with it. We're all leaders.
The Women's March in DC has been one of the most historic gatherings of resistance. It felt good to see women like me holding this event down. Pero this is only the beginning. In the face of so much uncertainty, it's become clear that there is still space for hope. We can stand up to injustice by participating, organizing, volunteering, voting, but also by being unapologetically ourselves.
Mitú.